What to photograph in June 2025? Hello photopiller, Rafael the Bar here. In June we'll enjoy the full moon, we'll have June's solstice, which is the longest day in the northern hemisphere, the beginning of summer, and the shortest day in the southern hemisphere, the beginning of winter. Also we'll have the Milky Way and the Galactic Center, of course, and 5 conjunctions of the moon with the planets, with Mars, Saturn, Venus, Mercury and Mars again. And depending on where you are on Earth, you'll be able to experience and photograph the occultation of Mars behind the moon. And as always, don't forget the Zone photo opportunities, talking about sunrise, sunsets, golden hour, blue hour, star trails. And as always, at the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 of the best photos that you guys have submitted to the PhotoPills Awards and that we featured in May. So let your imagination fly, decide what you want to photograph, and go to PhotoPills and plan your shot, so you can go and capture it. Okay, let's get started. Let's see some of the best photo opportunities that can be captured in June 2025. Let's go. The full moon is on June 11th. And the moon is so much fun. It is such a powerful element to include in our compositions. So based on the moonrise or moonset directions, plan your shot as I have done here in Minorca, because if on June 11, 2025 at 9:59 p.m. I am at the red pin position here, according to the top panel, at 10.7 kilometers away from the red pin, from the black pin, my subject, I'll be able to photograph and enjoy the full moon rising behind the beautiful lighthouse of Favarich. And as you see on the map, this blue band represents the size of the moon. The size of the moon is gonna be super huge. Actually, you also have the size in brackets on the top panel, 93.3 meters. Amazing. By the way, here you have a photo of the lighthouse, the Favarich lighthouse. As you know, one of my favorite spots in Minorca. Pretty cool, and according to the plan, according to the top panel, the moon height will be 34.9 meters, which is slightly above the height of the lighthouse, which is 28 meters. The moon will be so huge that you'll see the lighthouse and a huge moon behind it. And the question is now, what's natural light I'll have at the time of the shooting at 9:59 p.m? Well, you have the answer on panel number 3. So swipe the top panel to the left, and here you have the elevation of the sun at 9:59 p.m, which is minus 8.17 degrees, which is now twilight. So in this case, I'll need to shoot 2 exposures, one for the moon and one for the lighthouse, to get everything correctly exposed. Well, I think this shot is super fun to take. And if you wish to learn how to plan your moon shots, which is easier than it seems, watch this video. June solstice is on June 21st. It's when the sun is highest in the northern hemisphere sky, and therefore the daytime is longest. It is the beginning of summer. And it's when the sun is lowest in the southern hemisphere. The daytime is shortest, and it is the beginning of winter. So the ones living in the southern hemisphere will have more time to enjoy and photograph the Milky Way and the stars. The new moon is on June 25th, and June is another fantastic month to photograph the Milky Way and the Galactic Center. In the northern hemisphere, as always, have the red pin in Minorca, you'll see that I'll be able to photograph the Milky Way arching pretty low in the sky in the southeast or east directions, and the Galactic Center moves in the south directions between the light gray line and dark gray line you see here on the map. And again, I can get the Milky Way arching low, but also in a beautiful diagonal or completely vertical in the southwest directions, which is pretty cool. If I tap on the AR view, night AR view, you'll see what I mean here in the map. So I have the horizon here, have the Polaris and the moon on the horizon, and here I have the Milky Way completely vertical at this date and this time. And I can change the time to see how it gets more horizontal and more horizontal. So basically you can get also a pretty cool arch above the horizon here, which is pretty cool. Now let's go to the south hemisphere, and for example to south here in Argentina, and see what we got. In Argentina we can get the Milky Way completely vertical with the core super high in the sky and pretty low also, but in the west directions. Beautiful diagonals, pretty straight Milky Ways, and low panoramas in the west. Let's tap on the night AR to visualize the Milky Way position here. And again, you have the core pretty high in the sky, low arching in the west. But you can also get it super vertical like this above my head. Very, very nice. Wow. I love the Milky Way in the southern hemisphere, as you already know. Okay, if you want to photograph Milky Way, you need to learn how to plan your Milky Way shots, and you can really learn it in a few minutes by watching this video. In June, there are a few cool moon-planet conjunctions. And moon conjunctions are super cool. For example, this is a video I recorded in one of our expeditions to Namibia at dawn. And what you're seeing is the beautiful conjunction with the pretty thin moon with Jupiter and Venus. Pretty cool. Well, in June, we'll enjoy 5 moon-planet conjunctions, and one of them will be also an occultation. On June the 1st, Mars will be pretty close to the moon, and the moon phase will be 32%. On Moon 19th, the moon will be in conjunction with Saturn, and the moon phase will be 46%. On June 22nd, Venus will be in conjunction with the moon, and the moon phase will be only 13%. On June 27th, the moon will be in conjunction with Mercury, and the moon will be pretty thin, with a phase of only 4.5%. Nice. And on June 30th, Mars will be in conjunction with the moon, and the moon phase will be 24%. Also, if you are in Western Peru, Ecuador, Western Colombia, and Clipperton Island, you'll be able to enjoy and photograph the occultation of Mars behind the moon. On both hemispheres, as always, you'll find the moon-planet conjunctions where the moon is, which is represented by this thin line that moves across the map when I change the time. Where you see the moon, there you'll also find the planets. You can miss them. Okay, now let's see some of the best photos that you submitted to the PhotoPills Awards and that we featured in May. The first one is a legendary Milky Way arching above White Pocket in Arizona, Utah, USA, photo by Jose Luis Martinez. The second one is a cool photo of the sun behind a big Buddha statue in Phuket, in Thailand, photo by Kondratenko Ruslan. And the third one is a fantastic shot of the thin moon over Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia, photo taken by Victor Bolea. Fantastic photos, guys. Keep submitting them. Now you wish to learn how to plan and photograph each one of the events I've shared in this video. I might download and study well our super detailed photography guides. I'm going to leave a link to the guides in the description of this video and in the first comment below. Download them. And as always, if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next Wednesday in another video. And remember that you have the power to imagine, plan, and shoot legendary photos. Bye!